So my institute has been working here since 2004, but we had a break since 2012. I personally first came to Romulijane in 2009 and worked here until 2012-13, and now again as of this year. I think we're actually doing a lot more than we intended to do. We set out just to get the project rolling after the pandemic with one small excavation to continue where we stopped in 2012. But what we actually have in this trench behind us is the perfect textbook archaeological situation of a building that gives us evidence for when it was built, that has a floor which gives us information about how it was occupied, when it was occupied, and then above it a sealed destruction layer that shows us when the occupation ended. And that is very rare in archaeology. And with that, without knowing, by sheer luck, we're actually much closer to answering a lot of the questions that we had in 2012 when we stopped the previous project. I think whether he stepped onto this ground physically, like you said, or whether he didn't, doesn't really matter. Galerius definitely left a footprint, a deep footprint in this valley. And I think the proof of that is we are here today in 2022 in a small valley in eastern Serbia. You've come from Belgrade, I've come from Frankfurt. If you go on the autoput at Paracin, you have a sign on the road for this place. The echo of what Galerius did here in a very short period of time in the early 4th century runs through till today and affects all of us, this landscape and your country, even today. I can't, because this site is so unique and this site is so wonderful. We worked here for 8 years, from 2004 to 2012, to understand whether this beautiful fortress sits alone or is embedded in an entire landscape. Now we know that this whole valley is full of Roman structures, that there was support for this main palace. And now the question is, when does this infrastructure date? How does this landscape develop? And that is without us even asking the big questions inside the palace itself.